I don't know why it does that. I gotta, oh, it's always something. But anyway.
Do you turn your computer off?
Yeah.
Oh.
But but you know what? We're recording, so let's get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all can deal with me doing this for a minute. Let's I can turn my camera off, as a matter of fact. Oh, there it is. Okay.
That's
Now
good. That's
there
good.
we go. Okay. Yeah. Unless it starts up again. But anyway, here we go again. So, okay, today is Wednesday, February the 8th, and we are continuing our study of A Course in Miracles. We got chapter 2, the separation and the atonement. Section 6, fear and conflict, and we are going to do paragraph 8 today. So let's just settle back, relax, center ourselves in the wholeness and the oneness. And let's just ignore all of the things that we had to do earlier today. And as we just hold ourselves still in this moment, we just won't worry about anything that is or can happen later on today. And in this space of grounding, we know we are connected to that one source, that source of all love, wisdom, intelligence, peace, understanding, strength, and value. And as we absorb ourselves, our conscious thoughts, our every actions into that higher source, we allow ourselves at this moment to be open and receptive to some new information, to what might come of value for us today. And as we continue on in this way of thinking, we just also know that as we are open to all this intelligence and all this information, that information will release itself out into our community, where it will, where its frequency and its vibration will be part and be one. And let's make sure that we understand our healing. And we can be grateful, have so much gratitude because we are healed. We can have so much gratitude that not only are we healing, we are healing others. And as we understand this and hold on to this concept, we just be so at peace. Allow peace and wholeness and love to expand from our hearts, our minds, our bodies, into our families, our homes, our communities, into this nation and into this world. And I like at this moment to just put Turkey and Syria into this understanding, into this place of peace and wholeness and healing, as well as our own member, Joanne, her grandson. We've just allowed this healing to absorb into their lives, into their communities, into their wholeness. And with that we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
That was long. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. You want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, I'll read it. I have emphasized that the miracle of the expression of atonement is always a sign of respect from the worthy to the worthy. The recognition of this worth is reestablished by the atonement. It is obvious then that when you are afraid, you have placed yourself in a position where you need atonement. You have done something loveless, being chosen without having, start that again. You have done something loveless, having chosen without love. This is precisely the situation for which the atonement was offered. The need for the remedy inspired its establishment. As long as you recognize only the need for its remedy, you will remain fearful. However, as soon as you accept the remedy, you have abolished the fear. This is how true healing occurs. Having emphasized that the miracle or the expression of atonement is always a sign of respect from the worthy to the worthy, we're at one.
Yeah.
We're at one with each other.
Yes.
When we're at one with each other, that is a miracle. Although the Course says there are no hierarchies as far as miracles are concerned, they're all the same.
Yeah.
But to mortal beings such as us, it's a miracle.
Yeah. And I like that it says it's always a sign. I turned my camera off because that was kind of getting on my nerves, that flashing.
Oh, I hadn't noticed because I was looking at the
reading. You were reading.
The reading, yeah.
It's always a sign of respect from the worthy to the worthy. And when we see and understand that we're all worthy, we won't be, we won't put anything into hierarchy.
Exactly.
And I like that they said it's always a sign of respect. Because go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and we should show a sign of respect to everyone that we encounter,
including ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah. And when we do that, there's no problem. That's the best way to put it.
Okay, you want to read too?
The recognition of this worth is reestablished by the atonement. And isn't that what we just said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose of it, that we recognize the atonement.
Right.
And the way we recognize it is by experiencing it as it is.
Right.
What were you about to say?
No, I was just going to say the recognition of this worth is reestablished by the atonement, which means I was getting ready to look up the word worth. But when I see it, and especially in this context, it means the value. Yeah. It has value. As I said, I want to look up the dictionary definition of worth.
You might as well add worthy, put worthy on in there too.
Well, that's what I was looking at, worthy.
Yeah. We're still on 2, right? Yeah. The recognition of this worth is reestablished. Isn't that amazing? It's reestablished, So it's like remembrance.
Somebody slipped.
His remembrance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. I did worth, and evidently, oh yeah, here it is. And the first thing that pops up is something about a film name called Worth. Have you heard of it before?
A film?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Worth, monetary value, the equivalent of a specified amount or figure. Value, the value of something, measured by its quality or by the esteem in which it is held. So like I said, value,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Let me
Is
look,
that, or those the only ones?
that's for worth. Let me look
Right.
up worth. I'm
Did
gonna
they
do
have any
worth.
other, you know, were those the only two?
Wait a minute, because I
Like
was
monetary,
going,
monetary and what was the other one?
wait a minute, let me-
Monetary and value, monetary and value.
right.
Okay. Those were the only two. Okay. Okay. So what's next?
You said worthy, having worth or value,
Mm-hmm.
honorable, meritorious,
Honorable
having
what?
honorable or meritorious,
Okay.
um, fit or safe or sufficient.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. You know, so when you hear, I'm glad you read that definition for worthy, because that's how judgment comes in,
Mm-hmm.
because we're trying to deem who's worthy and what's worthy.
Right. And doesn't, and now I'm referring back to biblical language, judge not lest you be judged.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, what they're saying is no matter what, we're all the same,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
in the eyes of the Creator, and as children of God, our Creator, there should not be any um, levels of whatever you want to call it. You know,
Oh,
we're all the same.
mm-hmm.
We all have the same value. We all
Right.
have the same worth.
Mm-hmm.
We're all honorable.
Yeah, honorable is a good word there, because when we put our worth on, like on a monetary value,
Mm-hmm.
or some type of material, any type of material value,
Yes.
you know, then I'm already putting myself in a position to be judged,
Exactly.
you know, because I have
Exactly.
to know who I'm higher than or who's higher than me. I have, you know, I have to always be putting myself in a position where I may I may or may not have value.
Exactly. Exactly. And what we need to keep in mind is that we do have
We
value.
do have value.
We
Yes.
do have honor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
we are worthy.
We are worthy. Exactly.
Yes,
Mm. Okay, go
exactly.
ahead to number 3.
Yeah,
That
go
was
ahead.
good.
Oh, I thought you were going to read it.
Oh, you want me to? Okay.
Yeah.
It is obvious then that when you are afraid, you have placed yourself in a position where you need atonement. And that's what we were just saying just now.
Right. And when I look at that word afraid,
I mean, this is, I'm gonna hold on a second.
okay.
I don't know if I can pause. Hey, darling. We're in class. Did you want to try to come in? Okay, it's there for you, but I'll send it again just in case. All right, bye-bye. Okay, that was Forrest. He said he's coming in. He should be in about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Go ahead.
I forgot now what I was going to say. It's obvious that when you're afraid, you place yourself in a position where you need tone. What I'm seeing there is that we have slipped.
Mm-hmm.
We have separated ourselves from our creator in some small way. It could be just a very small way, but that is what fear is all about, because
Yeah.
Love is letting go of fear. What happened?
Oh, I'm trying to send this to Forrest, but for some odd reason my computer's running slow.
Oh, okay.
Here you go. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Let me go back up here. There we go.
Okay.
Hi. Yeah. And this is what we were just saying. I said, like when we're looking at the worth of someone else, if we're trying to judge someone else, we are already in fear.
Right.
We're in fear that, okay, I think that I'm better than you. That's scary in itself, because I just might not be in, And then if I think that I'm better than you, then I really think that there's somebody better than me. And then I'm fearful about that, because now I'm angry about that, or I'm jealous about that, or some other type of negative emotion about that.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So that's why I said it is obvious then that when you are afraid, you have placed yourself in a position where you need atonement.
Yes, you have. Most definitely.
But that's what what I think this whole existence is about. Us learning how to be our most perfect self, our most perfected self.
And we are perfect just the way we are.
Yeah. But we have to realize that, though, at every level.
Exactly.
It's good in theory, and it's good if we intellectually know it, but we haven't really taken it to heart. And it is something that we have to grow into all the time.
Yes, it is. And I was just thinking, I'm trying to think how I can phrase this. When we think of ourselves, or compare ourselves, I guess is the best way to put it. When we take to comparing ourselves to others, that is when that fear kind of creeps in there.
Oh yeah.
The only thing that we have to remember is to compare ourselves to ourselves.
Yeah.
Am I better today than I was yesterday?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be better tomorrow than I was today. So the only person you should really compare yourself to is yourself.
That's so true. Yeah. But that's a learned experience. We're learned from early on that we're compared. As soon as we put children in school, that's the first thing that they learn how to compare one another.
Exactly. And by how they dress, by how they talk,
Mm-hmm.
and even as far as grades are concerned.
Especially how grades are concerned, especially grades.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially grades. And but a child has seen that all of the instances of their lives, because if your parent is going into the bank, they might not convey to you that, okay, this person that's behind this counter that's giving me money is not better than me.
Right.
So and we pick up different things and process it however we processing it in our mind at that moment.
Exactly.
So
And
no, go ahead.
now I was going to say, and very often we do it even unconsciously when we are speaking about somebody and we say, oh, they're just.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Uh-huh.
What
Yeah.
what do you mean they're just?
Mm-hmm.
That's another human being. That's another
Mm-hmm.
soul. That's another one of God's children.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just one of God's children. They are just one of God's children. We're all one of God's children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we are all one as far as he's concerned.
Yeah.
Or
But
as far
we
as
have
the
always
creator is
been told
concerned.
that, but that's just the thing. We have always been told that. I mean, I know as a Christian, I have always been told that. I mean, that's not a secret. That's nothing new. So, but that's not how that's the disconnect. We're always told that, and we're supposed to believe it. We're supposed to act on it, but we still aren't. There's still a disconnect on there.
Right.
It's not universal, I guess, is the right thing. And I think that that's really a big issue about where it comes from, people with religion and not understanding what your faith is and how you believe and what you believe. I just think that that's all a part of it. And where were we? Okay. Yeah, so number 4, you have done something loveless, having chosen without love. Yeah, because when I am acting in fear, I am usually not choosing out of love, because a lot of times when I'm choosing in love, although I might have some, not necessarily what you would call fear. I might have some disquiet about the outcome. But when you really act out of love, you're really you're going to be all right with your decision.
Exactly.
You're going to say, well, I really did that because I loved you. Now, so you might not be able to recognize, what it is, that if you have done something, love less. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Something,
right.
Something like fearful. That's what I mean, fearful. Because I had lost myself that time, so I'm glad you're keeping up with me. I lost myself. I was back and forth so much. Wait a minute, what am I talking about?
I got you.
Yeah.
And read the next sentence, because I think they kind of go together.
This is precisely the situation for which the atonement was offered. And that brings you right back up to the second sentence, is the recognition of this worth is reestablished by the atonement. And when you do stuff like this, whether it was, stupid or well meant, just having this, that's the situation that I can find the atonement in this. You know, this is why the atonement came here, you know. It came here so that, you know, to pull me back from, you know, any way of fear, any sense of fear.
Exactly. And to make sure that you are at one with the Creator and with your sisters and brothers.
Yeah, but you do have to choose it though.
Yeah.
You do have to choose. And, you know, when it says you have done something loveless, having chosen without love, this is precisely the situation for which the atonement was offered, because we have to really choose love.
Right. And having chosen without love means that we do it not from the heart, but because we feel obligated that we must do this thing. You know?
Or whatever, or for whatever, you know.
Right.
Yeah, some negative, something non-affirming.
It's not, yeah. And to me, it's not from the heart, because I feel like that whatever you do, if it comes from the heart, it is done with love, whether you say so or not. Because if it comes from the heart, the person that is the recipient of whatever it is, whether it's a hug or whether it's something material or whether it's just a gesture, a smile, whatever, if it comes from the heart, the recipient is going to know it and they're going to feel it.
I do agree with you with that. I really do, because I'm gonna tell you what. I grew up, you know, getting whippings and giving whippings. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And in every instance, when it was given out of love,
it hurts me more than it hurts you.
Right. You know, and that is sometimes true. That is sometimes true, you know. But you know, there was, you know, love was maintained out throughout the process.
Right.
You know,
modern days they call it tough love.
Oh, they did? Is that what they call it?
No, I say in modern days.
In modern day.
Yeah.
Is that what they called it back then?
No, they didn't call it like that back then.
Yeah, but and I think that those people who did not have that experience, who, you know, somebody said, this hurts me more than it hurts you, but it wasn't really truly done out of love in your heart, from their heart. And that's, you know, so and that's a real tricky thing, because only that person can live it from their heart. You know, can live it from their heart. You know, whether you are the one who is getting the whipping, because you're getting, you know, if you're getting a whipping and you know that, okay, yes, I did something that was not right. You know, I knew this was wrong, and I'm not really surprised about this situation right here, you know. And compared to a person who was just, you know, I don't know, sleep in the bed one night, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're starting to get a whipping, or, you know, something like that for no apparent reason, you know. And I think that, you know, things like that gives us perspective on what was done out of, you know, true love.
Right.
Because I think it's easy enough to look at a situation and say, no, that was, you know, like they say, you know, that was not the modern time.
Right. Right.
Okay, where are we now? 6?
Yeah.
The need for the go
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, the need for the remedy inspired its establishment. That sentence right there, I don't know, is very formal. The need for the remedy inspired its establishment. I get it, because that's just what we're talking about. We're talking about, whipping children. That's what we're talking about right now.
Read the next sentence, because they kind of go together, I think.
Okay. As long as you recognize only the need for the remedy, you will remain fearful.
Yeah. The need.
I think they go together, but they, for me, I need more
they
clarification.
Stand alone. You want to
6
stand
and
alone?
7. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, 6 is kind of like what we were talking about in 4 and 5.
Right.
Is that, there is a vibration that comes from truly acting in love or out of love. When I am acting out of fear, and and I'm calling it love, that vibration can be felt to whoever I'm saying I'm giving the love to. They're going to be able to feel the fear more than they will the love. And this, to me, is what 6 is saying, is that the need for the remedy inspired its establishment. So, if I am acting out of fear, but I'm calling it love, whether I'm realizing it truthfully or not, it's already putting in place that opportunity for the atonement.
Right.
Because the need for the remedy inspired its establishment, meaning the atonement.
Yeah.
I need the remedy. I need to learn how to not live in fear or confuse fear and love, together,
Right.
or to be conflicted by, fear and love, or give conflict to someone else because of my conflicted mind for my fear. I don't have to, it's like sneezing and, somebody else catching your germ.
Right.
And so now I can see 7, as long as you recognize only the need for the remedy. See, as long as you recognize only the need for the remedy,
Then to me, that says, as long as you recognize only the need for the remedy, you will remain fearful. And what that's basically saying, as far, in my opinion, is that without love,
yeah,
you in deep trouble. You're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because if I'm only stuck on the need, I'm only stuck on that, and I think that that's what the remedy is. Of course, I'm gonna remain fearful. I'm gonna be scared every time because I haven't, paid attention to the atonement. However, as soon as you accept the remedy, as soon as you accept the remedy, which is the atonement, you have abolished the fear.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have abolished the fear. But see, this is sometimes where, A Course in Miracles, it can get, very convoluted, you know what it's saying, but, it's kind of hidden inside of, a thought system, a thought pattern. You had to, kind of pick through it to be able to get the whole gist of the thing.
Right. And I think the other thing too is it's directing you, I guess is the best way to put it.
Mhm.
Directing you to look deep within yourself
Yeah.
and know who you are, know your truth,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
acknowledge those weaknesses, if you will,
Mhm.
or those fears, if you will. You know, all of those things that keep you from opening and being, you know, who you really are, acknowledging who you really are,
Mhm.
being your honest, truthful self. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what, and it says, as soon as you accept. And I know
Mm-hmm.
later on we'll be going over the that whole section of the holy instant. And that's what that is saying, you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's where that's the sweet spot where we don't need time anymore. You know, because
Yes.
we accept the remedy, we accept the at 1 minute. We
Mm-hmm.
accept and that's that instant we are holy.
Mm-hmm.
And the more instances that we have of that, that's how this is how true healing occurs.
Right.
Yeah.
Precisely. Ain't it great?
It is. Yeah, well, we came out that was a really good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can look over that whole section of in the manual for teachers of honesty.
Ooh.
That really works.
Yes, it does.
That fits in perfectly. Let's see, where am I? It is the levels of, we're still in the characteristics of a teacher.
Yeah.
Teachers, here we go. There we go. And we are on honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are the levels of teaching? Yeah, what are the characteristics of God's teaching?
Mm-hmm. And last week we had talked about what was it? Truth? No, trust.
The development of
Trust.
trust.
The
Yeah.
development of trust. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we can just go ahead and read this one because this fits in perfectly what we were talking
What we
about
were
today.
just talking about.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
you have to be honest with yourself.
Exactly.
You know, am I truly living? Am I truly living in love, or am I truly living in fear?
Or am I trying to fool myself?
Exactly.
Who am I fooling? Nobody but myself.
Nobody but me.
That's right.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and read this one. I'll read the first one, you read the second one. How about that?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, honesty. All other traits of God's teachers rest on trust. See, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Once that has been achieved, the others cannot fail to follow. Only the trusting can afford honesty, for only they can see its value. Honesty does not apply to anyone. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me start this over. Only the trusting can afford honesty, for only they can see its value. Honesty does not apply only to what you say. The term actually means consistency. There is nothing you say that contradicts what you think or do. No thought opposes any other thought. No act belies your word, and no word lacks agreement with another. Such are the truly honest. At no level are they in conflict with themselves. Therefore, it is impossible for them to be in conflict with anyone or anything. Well,
And,
that done taught me something just then. Go ahead.
all the other traits of God's teachers rest on trust.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty does not apply only to what you say. The term actually means consistency.
Consistency. Mm-hmm.
And what that is telling me is that, and I'm thinking about things that I have heard the old folks say.
They
That
knew what they were talking
if you're honest about something, you don't have to try to remember
Mm-hmm.
anything. Because if you're honest with yourself, if you're honest with those around you, the truth will always enlighten.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to brush it over, veil it over, or, try to hide it or anything. Just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Just be truthful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really like it that the term actually means consistency. That's a big deal right there, because you're consistent with your words and actions. Your words and your actions are always in alignment with one another.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. Because when you are honest, okay, I will tell you a story, a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And today and tomorrow, I will tell you the same story. My words may change. The words that I use to tell the story may change. But the honesty, what the truth of what we're talking about, or what I'm telling you, is always going to be the same. When you boil it down, it's like in the Bible when they talk about the fire separating what is it, gold that they put in fire to purify it. It's the same thing.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's exactly what this is saying. It's saying that your words, your thoughts are not going to contradict your other thoughts.
Exactly.
Your actions aren't gonna belie your words. If I said something, that's what I'm gonna do. Your words no words lacks agreement with another. So everything I say, everything I do is so I'm living my most authentic life. I am being my true and honest self, and that in itself shines and expresses love.
So true. That is so true. Hold on just a sec. Oh.
You want me to put on pause?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we can continue our conversation.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. And that's really important when we think about all of the things that we have to like unpack in our lives.
Right. Right.
To see what it is that we do trust, what the things that we can trust, what about who I am about myself. And that's what we were kind of learning in section 8, paragraph 8 just now. Yeah. Hang on, made me lose my train of thought. but that's what we were learning in that paragraph, is that when we understand how fear acts,
Mm-hmm.
then we don't have to act like fear,
That's right.
and we don't
That's
have to act in fear, you know. And once we recognize that the atonement is the remedy, being
mm-hmm.
at one, being in this oneness, this place of oneness, this place of wholeness, that is where that's where we reside, that's where we live, that's where all of our thoughts are, and we constantly evaluate. And I think that that's what that meant when it says worthy, the worthy to the worthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really evaluating my thoughts. I'm really evaluating my actions. Am I
Mm-hmm.
being my authentic self without hurting anyone else?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And when we are being our authentic self, we're not hurting anybody. And if somebody else feels like they're being hurt, that is on them.
That's on them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they are in that trench. Is the best way I can put it. That trench, or that hole of fear.
Hello.
I'm here.
Huh? Oh, okay. All righty then. Okay. Yeah, we're on tomorrow. It's from 7 to 8:30. Okay, I'll call you later. All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, Forrest said he's been trying to get on. He hadn't been able to get on.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, and but yeah, this is our challenge though, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what our challenge is to learn how to live honestly, but I had, this is the first time, and I've read this before, and this is one of the things that I had underlined, was that that honesty means consistency, and that honesty does not apply only to what you say. That was that I had underlined it, I don't know, back in 1994 when I read it once upon a time ago. But
yeah.
Now seeing that, understanding that, I hadn't, I probably had always thought that, honesty, it really has to do with what you're saying, because I want, but now that, now when you think about, that's how your thoughts are, you're not just, I can see the different strata of it, my thoughts, my words, my actions, all of those things combined.
Right. And I have a feeling that because I too, well, I highlighted it. Honesty does not apply only to what you say. The term actually means consistency. And I probably, because I will say I highlighted that the first time I read it because it struck me.
Mm-hmm. 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 And consistency just means habit.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Exactly.
That's just
it
practice.
means it means that you can be trusted, that you are not devious, that you can be counted on. I mean, all of those things that I would say earmark you as an honest and trusting person.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. And the more we understand how to value ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And this book came out, wasn't in the early 70s?
76, 75, 76, I think.
Oh, okay. So
You
late.
mean the Course in Miracles?
Yeah, I thought it came
Yeah,
out like
I think it's
71.
I think it was 10 years. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 10 years in the making, but it was
Oh,
actually published, finally,
yeah, the first
published in
copyright was
76.
75. The first copyright was 75. So, when you're kind of seeing how that 75, I mean, I was I was in high school. So it wasn't that long ago.
Right.
When this type of shift, this paradigm shift in consciousness was happening, throughout, well, America, of course, but throughout our world.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that we have actually we have come a long way. We have come a long way with understanding how to value ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people, I mean, and now that this is a an imbalance for some people, because some people are saying that some things are way too honest. They don't want to be around people who are, who are transgenders. They don't want to be around, that's too honest, too much of a shift,
But, but, and see, my answer to that is, and I think about this cartoon or whatever you want to call it, that was circulating when I was working in the corporate world as when I worked for the electric company, and also I think when I was working in the bank. This cartoon, it showed an individual, and I don't even remember what the picture was that was associated with it, but the caption was, "God don't make no junk."
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about that, I don't see, maybe, pre-programming has made us feel uncomfortable being around people that are different.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they are all God's children.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we should love them. And I think it was
but don't you think we have to learn how to trust first?
Yes.
And, we have to learn how to put these things into perspective. And that's why I was saying, it's, it hasn't been that long. It hasn't been that long that, some things have come out into the open, so that we have to see them, so that we can learn how to trust them.
Exactly.
I don't, if I don't see myself as a child of God, I'm certainly not going to see you as one.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I mean, I might just believe that God does make junk. I don't know how people have been taught in their lives, but this is, it's so amazing that so many things have been put out here now, so that we can see that people are different. They're different at all kinds of levels.
Exactly.
Not just things that we see on the outside,
Exactly.
and that we have to learn how to trust and believe them. I have to learn how to trust and believe you, because eventually that's what's going to happen anyway. I remember as a child, I remember that there were colored water fountains and white water fountains, because white people thought they would catch something if colored people drank out their water fountain. you know. No, no, that don't happen like that, you know. No, it don't,
No,
you
it
know.
doesn't. And you know, what came to mind when you mentioned that was certain scenes from the movie The Help. You ever see that?
Yeah, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it.
And where they built in one scene, they were talking about building this special toilet for the maid so she wouldn't be using, you know. And then that scene where the writer, the young writer, misquoted her friend in the article, and she wound up with all these commodes in her front yard.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Well, yeah. I saw it when it was. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm gonna have to look at it again because I don't remember that part. I don't remember that part right there.
and then,
But that's what I'm saying, you know. So yeah, and I just had a conversation about this with somebody the other day. If there is a transsexual person who comes into the female bathroom, me personally, I would have to live my own truth. Everybody has to come to this place where we trust one another.
exactly.
I have, this is, if this is an unfamiliar thing for me right now.
Exactly. But
and I'm not talking about me personally. I'm just talking about, people who is new for. So if we're not feeling comfortable, we have to live like we're supposed to live. But also, if there's a transgender person that is having this experience, they got to understand that we got to learn how to trust one another. We're going to have to feel our way around, because we also thought we would catch, it won't always, we didn't always think we weren't good enough for white folks. We, me personally, our family, we were taught that white people kind of nasty, that they did a lot of things, and they carried diseases, and we all know that they had lice.
Exactly.
Well, black people didn't have lice.
Think about the Native Americans that have been literally eliminated from the American population. Because of the diseases that were brought into their environment by the Europeans that were exploring.
Yeah, but we have to learn how to accept one another. And right now it's new. Right now it's new, and it's awkward, and it can be, it seems undesirable. But 10 years from now, it's not gonna be anything that anybody even notices. I mean, there might not even be a male-female bathroom.
Well, from my understanding, I haven't been there, but from my understanding, they don't have gender specific restrooms in Europe.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I don't know.
I said from my understanding, from what I've been told by some people. And it's not something that comes up, in conversation, regular conversation, but I have, if something relating to that topic comes up, I have heard people that have traveled to this, they don't have them. They don't,
And so if they know how to control themselves, maybe there's a lock on the door. Maybe it's only one of them. Maybe you don't have a whole stall full of bathrooms. I don't know how they work over there.
I don't either.
So, but if some people throughout the world can do it and have been doing it for a long time anyway,
Mhm.
not, it's stuff that we can learn how to do. But you know how we Americans, we're in our special little bubble, you know. We're
I,
in a
I
special
think,
little
I think,
bubble.
I think perhaps what, what, um, why we are the way we are, because I think we are different. We operate different as far as the world is concerned from other countries, because first of all, there's that highbrow British influence that has filtered into our society. And of course, remember the explorers were usually the second sons, and they had to prove themselves.
Mhm.
Where and when I say that, I'm talking about especially with the English, the eldest son, they had this law
They
that
got
they call,
everything.
yeah, they
They
call
got everything.
primogeniture, which meant that
Mhm.
the eldest son got everything. And notice I said son,
Uh-huh.
even if the oldest child was a daughter,
Right.
it was the eldest
The
son
oldest, the
that,
oldest 8 daughters by the
right,
first wife.
right, right. But and I mean, that not only is a part of English society, but when you go back and look at the inheritance of the members of the 12 tribes of Israel, one of those sons didn't have anything but daughters. And of course, them daughters got together and decided, hey, no, we're just as entitled as if we had brothers. And because what they were trying to do was manipulate it so that particular tribe, and I don't remember now which one it was, but they said, no, we have just as much right to our father, the inheritance of our father, what was rightfully our father's should be handed down to us, and not because we married somebody from another tribe so that they will incorporate, you know.
Hmm. Hmm. I don't know where that is either, but that would be
Yeah.
a interesting thing to look up. We do need to one day have a discussion about the women in the Bible, because
Yeah,
that's always an interesting that's always an interesting discussion.
exactly. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, but this is where what it is that when we learn how to trust one another, and
Really.
just like anything else, you got to take one baby step at a time.
That's right.
Got to trust a little bit, and I really do think that this is why this is happening now. Is that now's the time when everybody is starting to live their truth. Everybody's ready to be honest now. You
Exactly.
know.
Because look at how things have turned around in the past, I would say 20 years,
Mhm.
you know. Um 20 years ago, transgender, um uh, lesbians and gays, they were all
Mhm.
ostracized and as far as society was concerned. But
Mhm.
nowadays, they're accepted as part of, I mean, little by little, they're becoming more accepted than they were 20 years ago. Of course, there's still a lot of animosity and uh, distaste or
Yeah, because
dislike
we had to
shown
have a
toward
law.
them.
That's generally that change that when a law occurs, then you get a chance to actually see, okay, well, this can work. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
this
Because
is
I
not as
mean,
it's not
when you
as
talk,
bad as yeah, it's not as bad as we
right,
thought it was going to be.
exactly. And
Yeah.
because I mean, what was it with the military? Don't ask, don't tell.
Oh yeah.
And then eventually it was like, and you're finding that because if somebody was gay or lesbian or whatever you want to call it, um, in other words, if they didn't um, adhere to the norm, they were ostracized, and they were usually material for blackmail, or some kind of devious thing to get them kicked out of whatever it is that they wanted to be a part of.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
hey, one of the governors, he's now a member of Joe Biden's cabinet. He was a governor of I forget now what state, but one of them ones down there around Arkansas, Missouri, or something like that. But they're getting elected to public office. And little by little, a lot of the athletes are coming out. So to
Yeah, because
speak.
I mean, people have always been alike. People have always been like that. It's
It's,
nothing new.
it is
but
nothing new.
but we're ready to tell the truth about it, and that's because we are ready to value ourselves.
Exactly.
Everybody's learning how to value themselves, and I think that is all a part of this evolving that we're doing. That we're learning how to be honest with ourselves. We're learning how to put it out there, but we also in order for us to come together, we have to learn how to trust each other, and we have to learn how to be honest with our truth.
Exactly.
And then we got to let people have some room, have some
exactly.
space, have some space with it, until it comes until it gets to this place where there is wholeness, where we know what the remedy is, where we understand that the remedy is in the atonement, is in that one-ment, is being in Christ, is all of those things. That's where the remedy is. That's where the miracle is. That's where that's what that's how we learn to honor and trust and respect one another. And sometimes some like right now, that there's still so much animosity, or it seems to be more animosity. It's just that things are being shaken up more, things are being more exposed. And the more we expose something, the more we expose ourselves to something, the more we have to learn how to ease into that vibration. We have to become one with that frequency, and that might take a minute sometimes. That might take a minute sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, but so it's 6:24, but we didn't start. We started like quarter after 5.
Yeah.
We started so we got like another 15 minutes.
Yeah. 15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I want to read that. You want me to read that second paragraph?
Oh yeah, we forgot. Look, I'm thinking that's all it is.
No.
Oh my gosh, look, we missed it, girl. Go ahead. Go ahead, read that.
The peace of mind which the advanced teachers of God experience is largely due to their perfect honesty. It is only the wish to deceive that makes for war. No one at one with himself can even conceive of conflict. Conflict is the inevitable result of self-deception, and self-deception is dishonesty. There is no challenge to a teacher of God. Challenge implies doubt, and the trust on which God's teachers rest secure makes doubt impossible. Therefore, they can only succeed. In this, as in all things, they are honest. They can only succeed because they never do their will alone. They choose for all mankind, for all the world, and all the things in it, for the unchanging and unchangeable beyond appearances, and for the Son of God and his Creator. How could they not succeed? They choose in perfect honesty, sure of their choice, as of themselves.
Hmm.
And before we talk about this, what I find interesting, and you kind of brought this up earlier, just before I read that paragraph. When you look at this, what are the characteristics of God's teachers? And what did they put first? Trust.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you had mentioned, you had brought it up earlier, because I mean, if you can't trust somebody, you don't feel comfortable being honest with them.
Yeah, that part's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that can sometimes cause for that need for atonement, or for that, and that also is fertilizing fear. So,
Mm-hmm.
when you can't trust, you can't be honest, and that combination does generate fear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the thing that causes conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like it says here, conflict is inevitable result of self-deception, and self-deception is dishonesty.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm, not living my own truth, and I'm trying to, you know, get you not to live your own truth, then, that is dishonesty. And that's the thing that makes for war. And this second sentence, it is only the wish to deceive that makes for war.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're thinking, what is, I watched something the other day. It wasn't, it was it's a science fiction movie. It was Edge of Tomorrow. But it really reminded me of Saving Private Ryan. Because I remember when I first went to see Saving Private Ryan, because I had a boyfriend at the time, and he liked war movies, and I didn't mind war movies. I don't, me, I don't mind violence. But I'm telling you, when I came out of that movie, I was traumatized. And everybody who walked out that movie, we were traumatized. Nobody, I had never seen that type of battle before. So I cannot imagine people who actually have gone to war and have seen things in war, that make them want to go back there. So so just thinking of war itself, it is only the wish to deceive that makes for war. You really, I mean, there's, you have to really convince somebody that war is a good thing. you know and there, like you said, once upon a time, it was, they were convinced by war that because they were the second or the third son, and this is how they're gonna earn honor. So they had to be convinced of that, and they got to convince other people to come along and join their war,
Exactly.
and all is, and because peace makes so much more sense, and everybody who's been to war, they all strive for peace. Now they want peace after they've had war. Now they want peace. So we can understand how how what that challenge is. And right here it says, there is no challenge to a teacher of God. Challenge implies doubt, and the trust on which God's teacher rests secure makes doubt impossible. So wow, how descriptive is that? That's how we get to this place of wholeness, of oneness, because I have no doubt. And I don't even challenge my own thoughts, where I, because there's no doubt in my thoughts.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know if you were, so this is a different concept, because I wasn't taught that. You know, I was taught that you had to trust God. You had to have faith in God. You had to love God, and that was it. And it's all because God loved you. You know, and it was just a bunch of words, really. Until, but until I don't know. For me, it was not described to me how, like this one right here says, there is no challenge to a teacher of God. Challenge does not, challenge implies doubt. I wasn't taught that, when I challenged the fear that was in me, that was the thing that was causing the doubt. That's not how, that was not what was taught to me. And so I can imagine that, somebody else had to have been taught like me, because there's too many people out here that choose doubt,
Right.
We weren't always necessarily directed as to what faith was, as to what it meant to really trust God. We were just told to do it.
Right.
And that was enough. But I think that this is really important. It's important to me anyway, and I hope to anybody else who might be seeing this, is that the reason that we do trust God, meaning, all universal laws, all, the source of all, the source of all. That's the reason that I trust that vibration. The reason that I trust that vibration is because I don't have to challenge myself,
right,
at any level. And that's an important thing. That's an important thing to know. We have our things where you got your pros and con list. You have your things where, these are, your tools that that help you maintain, I don't know, some desired result, but when we really learn how to trust that vibration, we really learn how to trust that frequency, that that thing that we call God. When we really learn how to trust that, that's the thing that that we don't have doubt, we don't have fear, we don't have conflict. How could they not succeed?
Really? Really?
Yeah.
And
Therefore, go ahead.
And when you do have that kind of faith and belief in that spiritual side of yourself, there's nothing that you can't accomplish, really.
Yeah.
It's the God, the power within that keeps us from falling. It keeps us from failing. But when doubt raises its head, then it's just like with Peter when he walked on water. He was fine until he took his eyes off of the Son of God. He lost faith and he began to sink.
But then he got his eyes right back.
Exactly.
So that's just the thing, and that's why in the second chapter, in paragraph 8, that's one of the things that, it's a reoccurrence. What was that? A reestablishment.
Right.
Yeah, it was a reestablishment of the, let me see, what was it again? Yeah, the recognition of this worth is reestablished by the
by the
atonement.
atonement, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So even if for and that's why, and what was it? It also says it was a it's, where is it? Is this first sentence up here is that, the term means consistency. We are consistently looking for that center.
Right.
We are consistently acting it out and living it and thinking it and breathing it and imagining it and speaking it. And that's why, and I like to say they can only succeed because wait a minute, they never do their will alone. Yeah, they can only succeed because they never do their will alone. They choose for all mankind, for all the world and all things in it, for the unchanging and the unchangeable beyond appearances. Look at that. And for the Son of God and his creator. And that's who we choose for. That's what we live for. We live for that, so that we can be.
And we have to keep that in mind
light
at all times.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
At all times, yeah.
And that's the thing too, is that, and you had mentioned Peter, he pulled his eyes off momentarily and began to sink.
Right.
He never sank, and that's the thing. And that's the thing that we remember, is that as soon as we begin to sink, that's when we reestablish. That's when we, get back on board. That's when we center ourselves again. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I like it that, yeah, we're doing the manual for teachers, and, we understand that we're all teachers and students at the same time.
At the same time, that's right.
Yeah, because, Peter just, Peter taught us something just then. He's still teaching us right here. All these many eons later, we're just learning.
That's right.
Learning about Peter and how he chose to accept faith. And that was one of the things that was in paragraph 8 too, is choice.
And when you think about Peter, he went through a whole lot, because he declared his allegiance, but then he denied the Christ, denied Jesus, denied even knowing him. And he was told that was going to happen. And when the realization hit him, it just brought him to tears.
Because he forgot that.
Exactly. And even during his ministry, Jesus told Peter, what did he say? Thou art Peter, and something about establishing his church. Peter was the rock, and that's where he was going to establish his church. And what is the name of the I guess you would call it perhaps the most sacred, the most I don't know what other word to use, in Rome, in the Vatican.
Oh yeah.
St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I would really though like to find a book that, because we had gotten into this discussion a little bit earlier, not today, but previously, about the comparisons of the different religious philosophies, and how they are all
interlinked.
They're all the path to the same summit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're all going for the summit, but they're taking different paths.
Mm-hmm.
But the summit is the same for all of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
would what I was trying to say is I would really like to find a book that addresses that without bias, is the best way I can put it.
But
Because so many of the books that you find like that, they are written with a Christian bias.
oh, mm-hmm. Well, you know, one of the things because you're asking for it, that means that it's already on its way.
Yes.
You know, it's already on its way. And it will come to you and you're gonna say, oh, hey, you know, guess what I got in the mail today? Or guess what somebody gave me? And this is fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, that's just how that's really, we can do all things. All things are possible for us.
That's right.
You know, all things are possible. And just being in this body and being in this time, and you know, it really is amazing. It really is amazing.
It is. It really is.
For a whole lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 6:42.
Oh,
I know
goodness.
that. but we got both of them concluded. We read that paragraph 8, and we read number 2, honesty of the, what are the characteristics of God's creatures.
And let me pencil in here so that I'll know that the next time we're on tolerance. Because there's what, 3 in my book anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.
Excuse me. I had the hiccup. I thought I had. This one is better.
Oh.
What's the date? The 8th?
The 8th.
Yeah.
So next week will be the 15th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what did you get out of the class today? Let's do our roundtable real quick. What did you get out of the class today, and how can you apply it to your life?
To me, today's lesson was well, first of all, when we look at honesty and look at what we discussed in that section on fear and conflict, as long as we're honest with each other, we're truthful.
Yeah.
We have nothing to fear.
Yeah.
And moving forward, I just need to keep reminding myself of that fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that I'm going to go with the same thing, because all of, section, paragraph 8, that whole way of showing me how to walk it out, because that's what 8 was showing me, how to walk it out. And this section of the God's of the
manual for
teachers is showing me how to how to accept it, how to display it. And what it looks like on the inside, now. So I know that if there is something that I'm being challenged with, a decision that I might be wrestling with, for me not to pay attention to the decision, to the choice, because I'm looking at the need, but look at the remedy. The remedy that is already corrected, it's already done, it's already healed, it's already put into place, and let me only see that. And that's the thing where I learned, that's the place where I learned to trust. And that's the place where I learned to I learned to be my most authentic self. I won't doubt here. I don't have to doubt my authentic self, because for what, why would I doubt me? I know me.
Right.
So I think that this is, that's one of the things that I really can get out of this. I can see all of the steps. And because sometimes that has always been a challenge for me. in my spiritual life. I just, didn't know if I was doing it right. And I just couldn't figure out, am I doing this right? Am I living this right? And is this the right way to do it? So now so it's really helpful for me
and you're not alone in that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not alone in that.
Yeah,
because
so I can see steps. So I can see steps. So I can
right.
go by the, I can see steps, and I know what to look for in it to help keep me in check. So that eases me of some self-doubt.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. So that's my round table, and I guess that's it for this evening. Thank you, Harriet. Again, as usual, you have done a spectacular, giving us an spectacular class, and a lot of interesting things to look at and to realize. And I really appreciate you for all of your efforts that you do here at Inner Haven. I really do. I mean, I really appreciate all that you do for us here.
Well,
go ahead.
What I give is what I receive.
Oh, that's so sweet. But you're a sweetie pie. You're a sweetie. Okay, so tomorrow we have introduction to gnosis. Introduction to gnosis, and it is from 7 to 8:30. And let's see, Saturday you are going to give a class on the chakras.
Chakras, right?
Did you ever get a chance to get that? Because I did forget to send it to you. Of course, I would. That chakra list.
I did.
Okay,
did.
Good. Okay, great.
As a matter of fact, I printed it off because things like that, I like to have a solid piece of paper.
Yeah, you need a piece of paper, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
What you mean.
Yeah, because having it on first of all, having it on the computer, I can't highlight it like I do with a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. And then
I did the whole 100 plus things because I started from the very beginning.
Right.
And I got those earlier ones as well as the chakra ones, because I feel, and that's what in our earlier discussion when I said I need to be a little bit more consistent, get myself more organized as far as my journaling habits are concerned.
Okay, well then you're already doing step one. You're already in step one.
Right.
Yeah. So, and on Sunday, this would be the second Sunday. This would be, where's my book?
I don't have anything down for second Sunday.
I do have my new calendar. I finally got a new calendar. Oh yeah, I needed to get one. Oh, there we go. I think on second Sunday we usually do tarot, or we used to do tarot and
okay. Okay, because I don't know where I got it from, but I have on my calendar, and I think I was kind of looking at what we did in January.
But anyway, I'll do tarot on the 12th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'll do tarot on the 12th, and so that's so we got you on the 11th doing understanding chakras, and I'll do tarot on the 12th.
Okay.
And then on the 18th we have Andre. No, on the 18th. That's the
the 18th.
Yeah, we have Andre doing the Book of Enoch. I have to check with Forrest and see if he's going to be able to do I Am. I'm not sure. Because like he was just having trouble getting on a few minutes ago. So we'll see.
Right.
That's always, it's always penciled in.
Right.
And that's
Oh, okay.
every, that's every Thursday at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's always penciled in. So yeah.
Okay.
And don't forget, on the 25th is Inner Haven Day. Yay!
Yeah.
The year number 7. So and that's what I'm calling it, big number 7. That's the name.
Okay.
Big number 7. So I'm asking everybody who wants to come out just to, focus on the energy of the number 7. What does it mean to you? 7 is, the time of is creation, it's completion, it's mysterious, it opens up an idea of creativity. So all of these things that, whatever, you're thinking of is this just get ready to, to be a part of that glorious time of creation. I'm so excited. And we'll be doing this over at Sandra's house.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll be doing we'll still have some Zoom. We'll still be open to, to Zoom as well.
Between 2 and 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it from like 1 to 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Sakina's gonna come and that would give her a little bit extra time of driving in daylight.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's on February the 25th.
25th.
Yeah, we'll put down 1 to 3
Okay.
for big number 7, Inner Haven Day. Okay. And everybody's going to be given some type of talk on the number 7. Yeah, keeping it simple.
Yep.
All righty then, Harriet. Do you have any other thing that you want to mention or bring or talk about, or?
No, I think we've covered just about everything for today. Don't want to overfill.
Okay, all righty.
Because we discussed a lot today, and there's a lot to think over and mull over.
Yeah, yeah, very true. Okay.
And
okay, well, I'll call him right back. Go ahead. Yeah, would you like to close us out in prayer, Harriet?
yeah, yes, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
Let us take in a full, deep, cleansing breath. Letting go as we exhale, letting go of all the negativity and toxins that may have gathered in our bodies, swept clean by that cleansing breath that we took in. And we are grateful for this time that we've been able to spend together, and realize that with each passing moment, we're getting better at our understanding, our knowledge, and the wisdom to use that knowledge and understanding for the benefit of all of our brothers and sisters. And let us be thankful, be grateful for this time that we are able to spend together as we learn from each other, because we are all students and we are all teachers at the same time. And so it is.
And so it is. Yes, 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 yes. So thank you, Harriet.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you. Bye now.
Bye. Let's see, stop share and I'll stop recording.